Today, episode 20 is all about Capitol Reef National Park in Utah. I visited Capitol Reef last summer on a road trip I took with Molly in the RV. We did 15 states and 12 national parks in 60 days. I had never heard of this national park until I started researching that trip, and I'm really glad I added it in. It's a pretty easy addition if you're already visiting the two national parks in southwest Utah or the two near Moab. Capitol Reef is about 2.5 hours from both Bryce Canyon, that most people will do with Zion as well, and Canyonlands, that a lot of people do with Arches. Capitol Reef was named a national park in 1937 and is a pretty average size park, around 240,000 acres. For comparison, Yellowstone is about 9 times that size. Very little of that is accessible by car, yet if you're able to hike and bike backcountry and take all-terrain off-roading vehicles, you'll get to see much more of the park. The entrance fee is $10 per person or $20 per car, unless you have your America the Beautiful pass, which is $80 for 12 months of unlimited parks. Capitol Reef is open year-round, yet snow and other bad weather may create some road closures. There's a 71-site campground good for tents and RVs, as well as two primitive campgrounds off the main road that I suggest a high-clearance vehicle to get to. There's basically two roads in the park, so don't worry you're not getting lost if you're driving around. And after visiting Zion before this and having to take a shuttle everywhere, it was nice to be able to drive myself and do my own thing on my timeline. Now, Route 24 runs east to west through the park, and the Scenic Drive runs south about halfway across Route 24. All of this is in the northern part of the park. The park extends further south where there are unpaved roads that will take you to the Cedar Mesa Primitive Campground and several trails. And the northernmost part, you have a few high clearance vehicle roads that cut in and out of the park. They take you to Cathedral Valley Campground, some great overlooks, and several trails. But again, the majority of the trails in the park are off those two main paved roads. If you only have 1 to 2 days to spend in the park, you'll be able to experience plenty just on these two main roads. If you have several days more, or even over a week, take an off-roading vehicle up to the northern and southernmost points to really take advantage of everything the park has to offer. The first day I was in Capitol Reef, I actually started out leaving Bryce Canyon, so I didn't get there until the afternoon. This was July, where the highs are in the 80s, so I didn't want to hike in the midday anyway. And after I got a map at the visitor center, I drove the Scenic Drive, which was otherworldly. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's like desert land with these amazing rock columns that just go straight up. It's not like mountains that have this steady diagonal incline. No, these just look like the ground said, okay, we're just gonna shoot straight up towards the sky. On my way back out the Scenic Drive, I took the RV down the unpaved Grand Wash Road that had all kinds of signs warning about flash floods. It is super important that you check the weather forecast and do not go when rain is in the forecast. A lot of Utah and desert areas are prone to flash floods. People have died whenever they get caught there, whenever it rains. Basically, the ground is so dry, it can't soak up any of the water, and the water just stays on the surface, pools and flows really fast, moving boulders and all kinds of stuff with it. So check your weather forecast. I wanted to hike the Cassidy Arch Trail, but I made the mistake of not doing this early enough. So by the time I got parked, the sun was already starting to go down. The trail is only like 3 miles out and back, and it takes you to the infamous Cassidy Arch, named after Butch Cassidy, who used to hide out in the area. And you actually start out on the flat, more open Grand Wash Trail for a bit. But remember how I said that the landscape was really otherworldly? This area had very hills have eyes vibes for me. Thank goodness I didn't watch that movie right before I went. I know it was filmed in California, actually pretty close to where Joshua Tree National Park is, but still, that's what the area in Capitol Reef reminded me of. Anyway, after like zero point 0.2 miles, you turn left onto the Cassidy Arch Trail, which takes you up some switchbacks on a narrow trail on the edge of the cliffs. Dogs aren't allowed on this trail, so Molly was in the RV and it was just me. And remember, the sun was setting. So a little over half a mile in, I had this weird feeling like I was being watched and I should not be there alone. And there was only one car in the parking lot when I got there, and it's the lot for a few different trailheads. So I had no idea where these other people were. I know mountain lion sightings are very rare, but rare does not mean zero. Okay. And the hills have eyes scenery was just really getting to me. So I chickened out and I turned around and I basically looked over my shoulder the entire hike back to the parking lot. I was seriously that weirded out. I had never had that kind of feeling before. So to this day, I have not made it to the famous Cassidy Arch, and that will be the next time I make it out there. The next day, I headed first to the Fruita Historic District in the heart of the park. It's been described as a desert oasis because it's the greenest part of the park with hundreds of fruit trees and shrubs in the middle of the dry, like reddish brown expanse. There's so many great things to see here in this area. First up was the Gifford House. The original part of the home was built in 1908 by some of the original pioneers to settle in Fruita. The third and last family to live there was the Giffords. The house has been converted to a store where you can buy some delicious baked goods. Like I got a little apple pie, a huge cinnamon roll, and a jar of spiced apple jam. They're known for their pies and cinnamon rolls, and they sell out almost daily. Like there's a line out the door when they open. They're open March 14th, get it? Pie Day, through usually like the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Also, right there in the Fruita area, you can also see the blacksmith shop, the Ripple Rock Nature Center, and the Fruita Schoolhouse. Its one room was home to 8 to 22 students at a time for 45 years. Finding teachers willing to live in that remote area was tough. The first teacher they had was only 12 years old. The school closed in 1941 when there just weren't enough children to make sense for it to be open. One of the unique things about Capitol Reef National Park that you have to experience is the orchards. They're remnants of the Fruita pioneer community. There's 19 different orchards containing about 2,000 trees, including apple, pear, peach, cherry, apricot, pecan, plum, and the list goes on and on. The park's visitor center will let you know which orchards are unlocked and which can be picked from. You're allowed to walk through any of the unlocked orchards and get this, sample as much of the fruit as you want while you're inside. There's ladders and hand pickers available to use, and then you weigh and pay for any fruit that you're bringing outside the orchards with you. A nice, easy hike in the Fruita district is the Fremont River Trail, which follows the river for about a mile before you turn around. You can also access it from the Fruita campground. It's pretty flat for the first half mile and then has a very steady climb up with a good view. One of the other unique things Capitol Reef is known for is the petroglyphs. These rock carvings were left by the Fremont people who lived in the area from the year 300 to 1300. They're named after the Fremont River that runs through the park. You can see the petroglyphs from two boardwalks close to the schoolhouse. Next on my list was the Hickman Bridge Trail. It is only 1.8 miles. It's a lollipop trail to a natural arch that you can walk under. You better be good at reading a trail map or have your All Trails Plus going because so much of this trail looks like the rest of the rocky landscape and it is very easy to get off trail. If you're looking for a challenging hike here, do Navajo Knobs Trail. It's 9 miles out and back with a 2,100-foot elevation gain. It starts at the Hickman Bridge trailhead, then follows the Rim Overlook Trail, and continues on past the overlook for about 2 miles. You'll have beautiful views the whole time, and some hikers even see bighorn sheep. Capitol Reef was named an International Dark Sky Park in 2015. No offense, but it's basically like in the middle of nowhere. Like there's not much going on within a few hours of any direction. So it has some of the best stargazing spots in all of Utah. About 10 minutes outside the park is Etta Place Cider, which you must visit if you like cider. They've been growing their own 90 varieties of apple trees for 12 years, and their doors opened almost 4 years ago. They offer tours and tastings and now have a food menu too. Etta Place Cider is a Harvest Host location, which we talked about before, so you can stay if you're in an RV. I stayed at Wonderland RV Park just a couple miles outside the national park, and it was great. That's all for Capitol Reef National Park. What are your favorite parts? I would love to hear from you. Find me on Instagram at the.great.escape.podcast and send me a message. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can follow along and dream big for your journeys on the Great Escape. See you next time, adventurers.